Okay, Assalamu alaikum and very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is doing great and still staying safe wherever you are now. It's great to be back again this week and welcome to our episode 13 of the Strata Talk Show hosted by the Excel Academy of Real Estate. So in today's episode, we will talk about on a very interesting topic entitled Managing Operation and Maintenance of Buildings. So stay with us for around 1 hour to gain insight and explore in depth the best practices that can be completely developed in building maintenance and management. And also don't forget to tell your friend and colleagues about this live session by clicking the share button below because the more the merrier. So ladies and gentlemen, joining us here today is Surveyor Muhammad Navil Mahmood, our guest speaker for tonight. So a little introduction about our speaker tonight. Surveyor Navil is a director at the Amas FM Consultant, a consultant firm of a building survey consultant, management and audit consultant for a facility. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question to ask to Surveyor Navil, please write your question on the Zoom chat box below, and hopefully we will entertain each and of your question at the end of our session later. So, I think without wasting any more time, please join me in welcoming Surveyor Navil. Over to you, Esa Navil.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Assalamualaikum and good night. Uh, I'm here to share some of my experience based on the topic given to me, managing operations and maintenance of building. Um, when you talk about maintenance, we have so many ideas lah, on how to maintain it. However, the what I'm going to discuss today is on the introduction, the overview of maintenance, and then secondly, I will discuss on the O&M, operation and maintenance, and number three, key to success in building facility management, and number four, to plan for the building management. Overview of maintenance. Okay, please share your concern, issues and challenge in maintenance. If you have thoughts, okay, I have some problem in maintenance, whatever it is, you just share with me so that we can discuss further after this sharing. In my opinion, this is what you have lah. When you have maintenance, the challenges are capital expenditure, CMMIS, O&M, procurement, service level agreement, asset register, OPEX, CAPEX, in-house resources, soft, hard services, life cycle costing, cleaning, refurbishment, M&E, reliability, engineering, waste management, and so forth. So many changes, and you got confused with it. Which one should you be taking it? So what we do is actually, previously when the British rule Malaysia, they use this divide and rule. But in maintenance, we categorize and manage it. So how do we categorize it? So we categorize it through making it into maintenance management, facility management, and asset management, or even property management. So basically, they can be categorized, which and which. So in this sample here, we have maintenance management, which is the smallest one, and then slightly bigger is the facility management, and more overview is the asset management. In the case of property management, probably come in between asset management and facility management. The focus on property management is actually still maintenance, but basically towards the increasing the value of the rental value. I'll start off with the maintenance management definition. The definition of maintenance management, as in terminology, British Standard 3811 1984. It is about the combination of all technical and associated administrative action intended to retain an item in or restore it to a state in which it can perform its required function. So basically, it's action so that it still can perform. the things that you maintain, it can perform what it is required for. For example, the lift services, it is performing as it is supposed to be performing. And then, as I said earlier, is we categorize it and manage it. So basically, maintenance can be divided into two: the planned maintenance and the unplanned maintenance. Under the planned maintenance, it is divided into two: preventive maintenance and the corrective maintenance. As you can see, there is another one, unplanned maintenance, also corrective maintenance, which is unplanned, and the other one is planned. It is almost the same, but the difference between it is a planned maintenance. Under the preventive maintenance, you have another two, which is scheduled maintenance and condition-based maintenance. So why do you need to understand this? You need to understand this because for each item that you manage at your site, you must have this plan maintenance, and you must know which one is the corrective maintenance plan, and also which is schedule based and which is condition based. Most of the time when we appoint any contractor, it is actually a schedule based maintenance because it listed out all the services that they have to carry out schedule, but it is not included which is the condition based maintenance. That's why we have to understand this chart here. Next one, I'll show you the definition on the planned maintenance and unplanned maintenance. The planned maintenance is a maintenance organized and carried out with forethought, control, and use of record to a predetermined plan. For example, planned periodic maintenance of air conditioning system. Unplanned maintenance is a maintenance that is carried out to no predetermined plan. For example, all of a sudden the fluorescent tube is out of service, so you replace it. So you don't have any plan. Something bad happened, you just call the contractor and repair it. There is no plan or anything. So next one is the under the plan maintenance, you have the preventive maintenance and also the corrective maintenance plan. And at the same time, you have the corrective maintenance unplanned. The preventive maintenance is carried out at predetermined interval or corresponding to prescribed criteria and intended to reduce the probability of failure or the performance degrading of an item. For example, scheduled service maintenance depending of the external wall every 5 years. Corrective maintenance is the maintenance carried out either a failure has occurred or intended to restore an item to a state in which it can perform its required function. For example, changing the door knob, damage due to the wear and tear. And the next one is the scheduled maintenance and the condition-based maintenance. Scheduled maintenance is the preventive maintenance carried out to a predetermined interval of time, number of operation, and mileage, servicing of an aircon system for every 6 months. Most of the FM contract, you have this scheduled maintenance. The lift service will come every month. The fire protection system will also come every month. So it is a schedule based. And most of the FM contract, they does not include the condition-based maintenance. This is the problem where the customer will start complaining, saying that the property manager or the facility manager is not doing their work because most of the contract are schedule-based maintenance and not condition-based. They should include in their contract to include the condition-based, and most of the condition-based, it has to have a value. So you should have a schedule of rates in built inside the FM contract, so that there is an allocation to carry out condition-based maintenance. And which is not, this two is not included inside the chart, is emergency maintenance, which is also corrective. The maintenance which is necessary to put in hand immediately to avoid serious consequences. It can be gas pipe leaks, clogging of a sewage pipe. Another one is the predictive maintenance. This is quite new, started in somewhere late 1990s. The preventive maintenance in which an item is monitored at appropriate interval to enable accurate evaluation to use as input when determining whether maintenance action or no action is required. without sacrificing the item reliability integrity. This one kita pakai thermography lah, thermography infrared. Then we will be able to know is there any leakage in terms of electricity or even water seepage from the wall. So this is quite new lah. And then coming back to this chart again, next one is the facility management. The definition of facility management, there are a lot of definition by different organization. IFMA, Australia, UK. So for me, the most simplest way is the integrated management of people, activity, and building. You notice that I'll colored red for building. And then the reason why I'll explain later. So some in building maintenance, most of the work are carried out basically purely on the building itself. So this is in 1980s and also in 1990s. The facility management started somewhere in early 1990s. The reason why it's developed is because most of the people involved in maintenance management, they are having difficulties in carrying out the work. And most of the time, it is not being approved because it involves financial impact. So when they use this facility management, they include in their claim people meaning to say that the owners, the user of the place itself, as their justification. And also they also include the activity. For example, if you have a warehousing facility, so if the dock or the loading bay is not in order, so definitely it's going not to work lah. So definitely they will approve the financial impact on it. So that is why they include people and also activity. And next one is the asset management. The asset management, there are systematic planning, control of the physical resources throughout its life, includes the operation and maintenance while in use, and their focus is actually on the life cycle management of the physical asset and to achieve and sustain the stated business objective. Basically towards a business, however, it goes back to maintaining the place itself. So the main connection of the above, all three, is actually maintenance. And to manage it, you have to categorize it and manage it properly. So in a building operation, can be commercial building, residential building, you categorize it and manage it. So how do you categorize it? Okay, basically when you in a building, normally there are two teams actually, O&M. They keep saying O&M. So it is actually operation and maintenance. O&M refers to the function and duties and labor associated with daily operation. The O is actually on the daily operation, red one. The ultimate goal is to preserve an asset so that it continues to provide reliable service throughout its expected useful life. So the M refers to the blue one. So basically, the building operation, all building services in operation. For example, if you are the operations person for the building, you must have to make sure that all the building services in the building is in operation. For example, the lift. You early morning you will start to test it, and then you turn on the aircon, and then you check on all the toilets so that all the water supply is there, and then at the same time you make sure that the cleaners is also there. And during this period of time, the operation of the building, you carry out the condition-based maintenance. You go around the building, for example, if it is a commercial building, so you go around floor by floor. If it is residential, also, you will go to all to the common area, check all the lift, the stairs, so that you will find out some of the things that need to be attended by the maintenance team. So this is when you do the condition-based maintenance. So as for another team, there is a building maintenance team which will carry out these two O&M team. Will operate as a frontliner, and maintenance team will work as a backroom operation. So what they do is they have their own schedule. They will go around. Okay, for today they will do the air conditioning service. Tomorrow they will do another type of service, and they have a schedule for 1 month. And then at the same time, based on information from the operation people, they will also carry out the corrective maintenance. Either it is planned or unplanned. Okay. Now we have the key to success in building facilities management. So when you want to say that how do you succeed in managing building and facilities, there are 7 in which you have to have in place. Number one is the processes and practices. This standard operating procedures. Why do you need standard operating procedures? Because the property manager will have to do certain things. The building manager will also do certain things, including their supervisors and also technician. And when something happen, they need to refer to their standard operating procedure. If there's a theft, something like that, they need to follow back to the standard operating procedure. So if you're managing your building without any SOP, it is going to be very difficult because people tend to not knowing who to go back. So if you have a standard operating procedure, it is much better lah. And then for the second one, you must have information system. The information system, it can be CMMIS, FMMIS, or even Excel system. In the old days, I used Excel system, 1990s, because when we wanted to purchase the CMMIS, at that time it was about 50,000 plus. Okay, it's quite expensive. And then I was advised by someone that if you want to get a cheaper one, can, but I have to develop it first through Excel. Because through Excel, you start to do all the data collection, and also you establish the processes for your operation. So based on that, I have a data base in Excel format, of which I shared with the CMMS provider, and it makes them easier for them to actually develop the system. Most of the system are developed on the shelf, meaning to say that you buy whatever is being offered. But there are certain features in that system you don't need, because you only need things that are related to your operation. And based on the Excel data collection and also the process flow that I have, we managed to reduce the price. Instead of paying 50,000, we are only paying what less than 30,000, which was very good lah. And then third one is data and knowledge. Data and knowledge is that you must have the asset register. Asset register, you must know how many, for example, air conditioning system, how many aircon are you managing it. You cannot simply say, oh, I have about 20 or 50 split unit. So you should have it numbered, meaning to say I have 20, and then 10 were purchased in 2010, and the other 10 was purchased in 2015. So you must have all the data collected and properly. And then number 4, okay, miss out number 5 is the management support. Management support, what I mean here is actually the management need to approve whatever we are carrying out. So that's why it goes back to the standard operating procedure. So there are certain work that is more than say $1,000. So what is your process? You need to have 3 quotation, or you can have only 1. So you need to have that type of approval. And then if it is an emergency, can you just appoint or use only 1 contractor? So you must have all that system beforehand. So, and you must have this so-called limit of authority. If the work is below 300 and emergency, then probably a person like the supervisor can approve it. and then and so forth. $1,000, $3,000 as such. You must have this because if you don't have this in place, then it's going to be difficult. And then most of the time, you have to go back to your bosses, and sometimes it's quite difficult to contact them. And then number six, staff development. Staff development in terms of training. So this is one of the training program. And then you must have a career path. Career path meaning to say that those people in property or maintenance work, so are they going to be stuck there being a technician, or is there any career path for them to improve their career to be promoted to senior technician or supervisor and even going up to executive? And then future plans. We must well aware of the plans for the building itself, refurbishment and renewals. And if I'm not mistaken, for residential property, Strata, they have this sinking fund. The sinking fund is actually to cater for future refurbishment and renewals. That includes for the painting, repainting, renewals of the lift, aircon, the piping system. So that is why the sinking fund is being collected. And for now, the calculation is about 10% of the service charge. And then there is a way that you should be able to understand how it is being calculated and how it is developed, the sinking fund. Okay. So looking back, just now we were talking about the main connection of FM and maintenance management is actually maintenance. And to manage, we will categorize and manage. And there are 7 keys to succeed. So if you go back, okay, to the 7 keys, 1, 2, 3, I missed 4, but I'll explain later. 5, 6, 7. So seems that you're going to have a lot of problem. So where are you going to start it? So the best way to start it, okay, we start by categorizing and manage. And the key point is actually we must know what we own and have responsibility for, which is the asset inventory. So asset inventory, you can either asset register. It can be carried out through hierarchy, parent and child, category-based, process loop, special relationship, business unit responsibility, and service provision. I will not explain the other 5 because basically for residential or commercial, they only focus on hierarchy, parent-child. So what I mean by that is that you have this level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you start off with level 1, for example, the site. You can say this is Kuala Lumpur. So Kuala Lumpur, how many buildings you have? So probably building 1, building 2, building 3. So if buildings, and you have block A, block B, block C, and then under block, it start to categorize under architecture, civil structure, electrical, and mechanical. And then for under architecture, you divide it into floor, wall, door, window, and ceiling. And then for floor, it's cement render, tile, and carpet. So this is what I say by asset inventory. So for any building, you will start to collect all this data so that you will know. For example, you will know how many cement render you have in the building, how many tile per square feet, how many area is being carpeted. So you have the numbers here. So when there's any problem, so for example, carpet, you normally change it after 5 years. Tile, probably depending on the tile design lah. If it looks jaded, then probably you might change it after 7 years. Or cement render, you might want to upgrade to tiling it. So you can't be spending time going to the site and start measuring again and again and again. So you should have all this information beforehand. So why do you need all those levels? Because level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because it applies to which area. So for example, if it is maintenance management or the FM contractor, probably they go for 4, 5, and 6. For FM, probably they'll go up to level 2, 3, 4, 5, and down forth. So, but their focus is actually level 2, 3, 4. And then for asset management, so probably they have an overview of all, but their focus is actually 1, 2, 3. So more specific. But basically, it's all about maintenance lah. It goes back to maintenance. Okay. So this is the collection, sample collection that I carried out some time back. Level 1 is the town center, and then it goes to asset class, road system. You have asset name of the road, and then type of the road, pavement, and then it goes down to up to level 6, and then it has some description to it. And then this is another way of looking at it. Okay, level 1, I'm just putting a name here, Bandar Utama. Level 2 is Menara Bandar Utama. Level 3 is the elements of the building, structure, shell, interior. So it breaks down to the foundation system, superstructure, exterior, interior, goes to the subsystem, level 5. And then another sample is this services, plumbing, air conditioning system, fire protection system, electrical system. So by having this, you will know what system you have in your building, how many are there. Okay. And then from the Excel system, this is actually long. 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes all the way. Okay. I met someone who developed the same system using Excel. I met him in 1998. Okay. During that time, not many company develop any computerized information system, Oracle or using Excel system. So it's just Excel. So he did this. The length of the Excel printed is about 10 feet. So it has so much data. So I did the same thing, but not up to 10 feet. What I did was up to only 3 feet only. So what we did was, just now I showed you the level 1, 2, 3, and then right after level 5, you have this color, orange color, light orange color. So all this, okay, I'll show you here. Condition assessment. Why do you need condition assessment? So once I have all the listing, I'll do a quick condition assessment. Why do I do a quick condition assessment? So that I know where I am at. So if I look at the wall itself, so I've just put my, based on my visual assessment, I said that, okay, the wall is still in order. So you can give a simple 3 assessment: good, fair, and poor. Poor meaning you need to do it quick one. You need to repaint the building. Fair, probably it can last another 2 years, or probably you need some places, some touch up. If it's good, meaning to say that you don't have to do anything. This is a simple condition assessment, even though presently they probably developed into 5 rating system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But for your simple understanding, you can use only 3: fair, poor, meaning said you need to do something about it. Fair, probably it can last another 1 year, 1 month, 2 months, or what, and then you might need to do some like switching. And then good, as you then you don't have to do anything. And then what you do is, next one is the schedule base, as you have to have a tick there whether you already have in place a contractor attending to it. And then if you have a contractor attending to it, you must have a look at the contract. So do they have their schedule, or is their schedule based on cut and paste, or it is what it should be? Okay. And then next one is a condition base. So condition base, you have a system for you to check probably once a month or every 6 months to have. So you have to have a checklist there. And then corrective maintenance, then you tick there if you need to do some urgent work at that moment. And then you will tick the O&M manual. Do you have the O&M manual for that particular asset? If you don't have, then probably you need to source it. Source it probably from your friends for the same type of equipment. And then do you have the drawings, DWG drawings? Okay, I'll check this one here. So okay, you need drawings and plan, and then you have to know who is the manufacturer and the installer and contractor. So sometime back, sorry, I go back here. So sometime back, for example, the lift system. Lift system, one of the best at that time was Schindler. Schindler. Okay, this is 1990s. 1990s, Schindler was one of the top lift. So most of the building in Kuala Lumpur they use Schindler, but somehow there was some problem with the license operator here in Malaysia, with the principal in Germany. So most people who are using Schindler are having problem of getting the parts. Okay, so most of the building they change their internal parts of the lift to Mitsubishi. Okay, why? Because Mitsubishi they have their agent here easily, and then there are so many installer and licensed contractor for Mitsubishi. So that's why you need to put down data for the manufacturer, and then you have to also put the installer, who was the person install it, and then sometimes a different person install it and another person will manage it. So it's going to be some difficulties because normally the installer is also the FM contractor for the particular equipment. So that's why you need to also include the name of the installer and also the contractor, and then you also need to put the installation date. And then why is this so? And then it also relates to this residual life. For example, painting. Painting for the external, probably 5 years. Internal painting is 7 years. So you need to have the cycle ready. Okay. For aircon system, normally about 7 years. For lift, the cable you need to check after 12 years. Reason being, the cables for the lifts normally it is made of the strand of cable, and then it was blended together, so it gives strength so that it should be able to carry the load inside the building. However, because some user or tenant using, they might be overloading the lift itself. So during the overloading, some of the strand might snap. Okay, not much, but I've seen it before. We carried out a check on the loading, so it shows that few strands were already snapped, and the strength of the cable itself is about 95%. So meaning it has reduced by 5%. So we don't want to be in a position where all of a sudden the cable snap. So you wouldn't want to be in that position. But if you have in place uh, to check on this, so it's better that way lah. So when something happened, you have a record saying that okay, it was checked last year, and then it shows that it is in good order. Okay. So in conclusion, irrespective of asset management, facility management, maintenance management, or even property management, the main concern is maintenance. Probably the focus is different lah, but the work is still maintenance. And no matter how complicated and complex is maintenance, always categorize and manage it. You divide and rule. And we must know what we own and have responsibility for asset inventory. And data and information collection, okay, information is king. So when you have all that information in hand, it's much easier. Because few years back, I was assigned to manage one building, and then during the meeting with the bosses keep saying the building is not properly maintained. We have so many defects. So that's what I was told. So when I did all this information, so it's easy lah. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Sr Navil, for sharing and talking on these very interesting topics, which is managing operation and maintenance of buildings. So now we are coming into question and answers session. So to participant, if you have any question to ask to Sr Navil, feel free to write your question on the Facebook comment below. So we will entertain your question now. Yeah, we can see there is question coming from the participant already. The first question is coming from Miza. Thank you, Encik Miza, for the question. Hi, Surveyor Nabil. How to develop an effective building facilities management team, including identifying the most appropriate individuals and workforce, the types of equipment to manage. Over to you, Surveyor Nabil.
Okay. Um, so let's have some basic first for you to develop effective building facilities management team. Okay, when you want to develop a good facilities management team, coming back, you have to look just now at all the services that you have in that building. For example, uh, if you're managing apartment building or condominium building, so you would list the services. So the services that you have probably lift services number one, and you have aircon at the meeting center, and then you probably also have the swimming pool. So you list out back, and then you would know how many people would be available there. If you're going to outsource it, so you need to have people to manage it, the technician to manage the service provider. So if you need to have the technician, it should have some knowledge in lifts, uh, water pump, so meaning strong background in mechanical. So at the same time, any building, you will always need someone with the electrical background. So these two you must have. And then the third one is the handyman. This 3%. Okay. So whether you need more than that, okay, then it has to depend on the size of the building. Okay. But you must have these three first. Even better if you have these three, having multi-skill. Multi-skill meaning to say that he background from mechanical, but he has the experience and also the knowledge in electrical. And similarly, someone from electrical background, for example, they have wireman certificate, either single phase or three phase. He should also have the certificate in air conditioning system. The reason being, previously in 1980s, 90s, most of the people working, they only have only one only, meaning to say one trade only. But late 1990s, they start to have this multi-skilling. So it's best that you develop your team members or you engage people with multi-skilling. And then you also said most appropriate individual and workforce. So during the interview, you need to have a list that what you need from them. Okay, if you need a certificate, okay, in electrical, but you want them to have some experience or maybe training in mechanical area. And then for the equipment for you to uh, type of equipment to manage. Okay, just now probably you would need to buy some tools, so it's best the technician to advise you what you need to buy. Did I answer you, Mizadi? And then I have another question from John Tang. Antar Schindler is not related to Schindler. Uh,
Uh, Okay, thank you so much, Esanabil, for the question, for the answers. Okay, on to the next one, which is a question coming from Mr. Chon Tang. The question is, Anta Schindler is not related to Schindler Germany. Over to you, Svenabil.
Okay, it is not related to Schindler Germany. Antah Antah is actually the appointed agent for Malaysia. Okay.
Okay. So I hope Sr Navil has answered your question, Mr. John. The next question is from Mr. Lee. Sir, do you have any suggestion for FM or BM software development?
Okay. Probably because if it is, you can use C works. C works is quite simple, and but I would suggest you to develop it through Excel, simple one. Okay. Through Excel, actually, you need to have the process. Probably simple line. If you can develop that simple one, and then having that tested with your technician, so once they tested it, they will know, okay, this is not good enough. See, they want should have this, should have that. Then when you call for this software company to present their product, your technician will be able to appreciate the features that is given. So probably it will save you a lot of money. If I were to recommend you, okay, you use CWorks. It might work for me, but it might not work for your place because the person who's going to use it is your tension. If they are not, you put a good system, but if they don't use it, it's just going to be a white elephant. Okay, I have three installation. One was a success, so it was good use. Second one was not in use for a simple reason because it was bought by the bosses. The bosses thought it was a very good system because it have the dashboard for them to see what is happening. But when we use it, it's very difficult. So at the end of the day, nobody is using it. Second one. The third one was halfway in between. So it is they did not call the technician to check on it. They only asked the managers. So partly used, partly not. So the one that we managed to use it fully utilize it is when I use the Excel system. So based from the data and the process flow we built with the technician, they were able to come with ideas. So when we call the service provider or the software developer, so the software developer are able to appreciate the data and the process flow that we have in Excel. So he can relate. So it's easier for us. So what we have is actually a system to cater for our needs. I hope I answer you, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope Sr Nabil has answered your question, Mr. Lee. Okay, on to the next one. Question from coming Mr. TF Tan. Encik Nabil, are there any standard that can be used to measure the level of quality and performance of FM implemented by building or property management?
Okay, presently one which is very good is the uh, FMI, Facility Management Index. Facility Management Index is introduced by IFMA, Institute of Facility Management Association. This is in United States. So what they have is the FM index. FM index is a way to measure whether your building is being managed properly. Okay. What they did is they carry out the facility condition audit for the building. So if at any one point, so for example, if your building, I'll come and inspect at any one point. So I'll check on the all the assets, the staircase, the lift, the wall, the roof. If you have a conditioning system for the whole building, everything, and then I'll give an assessment. And based on that assessment, based on 5 rating, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then those who fall under 3, 4, and 5, I will give a value of repair work to be carried out. Okay, for example, if the building itself, they call it the building replacement value, the insurance value for the building. For example, you're managing the building now. So a simple way for you to calculate the insurance value is the square feet times by about, say $200. Okay, so that will be your building value. Or if you have the insurance value, you use that insurance value because the insurance value is only on the building, not on the land. Okay, so you probably purchase a property building worth about 300 million, but that is not the insured value. Probably the building is worth about 100 million only. The land itself is 200 million. So for example, now we take a sample of 100 million, okay, and then all the repair work that I said just now, falls, meaning to say that some minor servicing, and then all the major work and things like that. So I'll combine it all. So if the value is less than 5%, so meaning that you are managing it properly, you're managing good. Okay. So if it is between 5 to 9%, so it's just fair. So above 10% is poor already. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sr Navil. I hope he answered your question, Mr. Tiaf Tan. Okay, the next question is coming from Siti Nurain. Salam, Sr Navil. Can I know what's the best practices to ensure the facility maintenance budget is comprehensive?
Okay. For you to know whether the facility maintenance budget is comprehensive, that's why you need to have that asset register. So everything is being covered. Okay. I'll look at it. For example, now I'm managing apartment building. So definitely, as you come in, you have the barrier gate, correct? So probably you have two. Entering it and then going out, you have another two. So it can be system, RFID system, whatever, but that is one asset already. Correct. Gate barrier system. That's one. And then number two, you have the guardhouse itself. Inside the guardhouse, you probably have the building itself, and then you have toilet inside there, and then you have the CCTV. Okay, and then if it's connected to intercom system, then you have intercom system. So what you need to do just now is you start to break down one by one item. So that's why just now I said, categorize it and then you manage it. So for example, it goes back to standard one lah, civil, structure, architecture, mechanical, electrical. But if you are unable to do that, then what you need to do is listing it as you walk through. As you come in, you see the grade barrier. So you put there one grade barrier, two grade barrier, four, three, four. Okay, and then you have the guardhouse. You put there guardhouse one. You have two entrance, probably guardhouse two, and then you have how many CCTV inside there. You have monitor, four monitor. You have how many CCTV? Probably at site you have what 20. So you have 20 CCTV. Then as you go around, you see the road system, how many kilometers? 6 kilometers inside inside the condominium area. And then you have drains. So you start to put the drains. And then you have curb, how many? And then you have landscape area, how many trees you have. So based on that, you have about half an acre of landscape area. So how much you manage. So that's why you need to have the listing. From the listing, there is actually a schedule of rate on all this. How do you manage? Okay, for example, landscape probably 5 cents per square feet. Road probably 10 cents per square feet. So all these actually there are rates. So before you can apply the rates, you need to have the list. You must have the list. The list will help you because you are in control. Because information is king. Okay. I joined one company, and then most of the bosses there have already worked there about 6, 7 years. I joined there for the first 3 months. I was being bombarded because in the meeting they start asking, "Oh, the building is in bad shape. You have this defect, that defect, everything there. So what I did was in 1 month, together with my technician, we go around to the site and we start collecting data. And I have all the information, and then I documented it in a report form. And then I present it to them. So when they start talking, I said no. I said I went to the site. This is a photo. Can you have how many? You said the column is in bad shape. We have about 36 number of column. Number one here, number two here, and then we only have one problem at one column. Why? This. And okay, I already called an engineer to check it, and it's not a problem. So I was in control. Okay. So of course, before you reach to that point, you must have collect that information. Information is king. When you have this information, okay, just now I show you in the second slide, so many things you need to do. Waste management, RFP, RFQ, procurement, so many things. But before you go into that, you start having the basic information first. Simple. And then probably for you to do that, probably we have another 1 hour session, how to do the asset register. Simple. Okay. And then we will build through the Excel system. And then how you build start one by one. And then kalau dah boleh boleh pergi site, lagi senang lah. Kan? Probably kalau kat site, please practical, workshop, half a day. I did this before. Few workshop I did, and then it was very easy for them to understand. And for them to manage, much easier after that. So you see maintenance in a very simpler perspective. Tak susah sangat pun, senang je. Okay. It took me 20 years to understand it. But once you understand it, kan, you tak payah go through what I went through lah. Okay, you need to understand this. The key to all this maintenance is actually the asset register. Kan? Pasal orang yang maintain tu, it can be me, it can be you, it can be somebody else. No matter how good you are pun, belum tentu you akan maintain. Tapi the building is going to be there, the inventory list is going to be there. So that's why that is the key point, the inventory list. Irrespective of what building, that is the key point. And from there, you start to develop everything else. Okay, I hope I'm able to answer you that.
Okay, thank you, Sr Navil, for a very clear explanation on the question. Okay, on to the next one from Encik Azman Ahmad. Sir, can give a rough idea of what tasks need to be done to maintain each equipment and facilities? And the second question, how to preserve a part of the budget for emergency repairs and replacements? Over to you, Surveyor Navil.
Okay. What tasks need to be done to maintain each equipment and facilities? Okay. When you are managing, say, more than 15 years or 20 years building, so you have to be very careful. That's why just now I said who is the original installer and also when it was installed. So for example, if you have the air conditioning system, central system, cooling system, and then you have to evaluate it. Okay, evaluate it. There are two ways of evaluating it. Number one, through visual, so you can check whether it is working properly. Visual meaning to say if you can see that, for example, air conditioning system, you can see what oil dripping here and there, and then meaning to say it's time for you to probably budget it another 1 year or 2 years. Okay, but before you go into that, that's why you need to go back to this when it was installed. Okay, because every equipment, okay, everything there is actually alive to it. 7 years, 15 years, 20 years. So when you have that, okay, for example, air conditioning system lah. Kita ambil split unit lah, senang. Split unit is about 7 years. Tapi kalau you manage it properly, it can last you 2 years. An additional 2 years. So untung lah, kan? Instead of 7 years, you dah manage to extend their life to 9 years. And then dia punya capacity pula. Dia ada two part. Actually, bila you beli kata air conditioning system untuk bilik, dia 1 horsepower or 1.5. Kadang-kadang you beli yang salah. Bilik tu patutnya 2 horsepower, tapi you put 1.5 atau 1. So, it's under power lah. Tak boleh juga. So, that's why kita nak kena faham a little bit on the design lah. Capacity. And then bila aircon mula-mula pasang, it was designed by the engineer. Dia calculate based on the loading untuk bangunan tersebut dengan jumlah orang yang ada dalam bangunan tu. Tapi ada kalanya kita ingatkan 100 orang, tapi kemudian dia dah ubah. ubah kegunaan mungkin dah jadi 120 orang dah, additional 20. And then people start complaining. Apasal aircon ni tak sejuk lah, because it was not designed for 120 people. It was designed for 100 people. That's one. And then number two, for the first 2 years, 3 years, dia punya capacity mungkin 95 to 100%. But after 3 years, dia punya capacity dah turun. Kalau dulu dia boleh, okay lah, kita good room temperature is about 23 to 24. Tapi sekarang dia dah tak boleh buat 23-24. Dia hanya blow out about 25. So dia punya keupayaan dia, capacity dia dah berkurang. So kita pun nak tahu kan. Kalau tidak, your bosses keep complaining without you knowing kan. Bukan salah you pun kan. Tapi sebab kita tak tahu. Jadi sekarang kita nak tahu. Kita kena tahu, kita kena panggil someone yang to test lah. Kalau nak sekarang nak beli pun boleh beli. Yang test tu, yang murah punya lah. Dia boleh tembak, dia boleh tahu berapa dia punya kesejukan yang keluar daripada kita set dekat kita punya room, control room tu kata 24. Ini kita tengok yang keluar berapa. Kalau 24 then bagus lah, it's still in good order. Okay, balik pada tadi, kalau maintain age equipment. So kalau kata sekarang dah sampai masa untuk you tukar, then nanti you sakit kepala. Bukan tanggungjawab you untuk menjaga sesuatu yang dah nak tiba masa lah. You kena cakap dengan management, cakap this equipment is actually capable, dia punya life cycle 15 tahun ataupun 20 tahun. Ni sekarang dah masuk tahun yang ke-25. Dah tiba masa untuk dia ditukar. Dia perkataan dia RTF lah. Run to failure. Kena tak boleh buat apa-apa. Bagi dia jalan sampai dia mati. Okay. Kadang-kadang ni saya ni dulu teruk lah kena hantam, tak tahu kan. Asyik kena lanyak, dia kata, apa ni rosak, siapa dia slow, tak tahu. So lama-lama saya faham lah, oh aircon tu engineer design untuk ni, tapi dia tukar. Dulunya office building, bangunan tu dia tukar jadi college. Jadi dia dah bilik tu, dia punya aircon diffuser tu dah design untuk office yang dulu. Tapi bila dia tukar kepada classroom, dia tak tukar benda tu. Jadi ada bilik ada satu diffuser, ada bilik ada dua diffuser. Bilik ni sejuk lah, bilik ni tak sejuk lah, bilik ni langsung tak rasa apa lah. Airflow tak betul. So nampak, ada tak pada kita? Asyik kena marah je kan. So before kita kena marah kan, kita kena prepare lah. Okay, untuk makluman kena ada gambar, senang. Okay, it was originally designed untuk ni, tapi kita dah ubah ni. And then bila you ubah, you tak panggil engineer tu untuk ubah balik. It's unfair lah kan. And then how to preserve a part of the budget for emergency repair. Okay, emergency repair dengan replacement. Just now I show you yang chart yang ada tadi dia menggunakan Excel tu. Kita kena tahu situ, maklumkan okay, apa agak kemungkinan akan berlaku dalam tahun tu. Kalau blockage ni standard dia akan berlaku lebih kurang 4 atau 5 kali. So kalau nak senang, you put one lah. One blockage for every month lah akan berlaku. Kan? So kalau budget dia berapa? Per blockage normally to clear is about $500. It can be less. Tapi for budget purposes letaklah 500. So lain lagi apa lagi yang selalunya berlaku dalam bangunan tu. So kalau you baru masuk dalam bangunan tersebut, then it's best to call your technician lah. Apa yang selalu berlaku, then you just mark and then you just check the rates, and from there you allocate lah. Okay, I would like to allocate this much money for emergency repair. Kan? And then kat sini kita mula belajar benda lain lah. Ada part yang memang dah tak ada lagi lah. And because dulu punya lift dia pakai analog. So sekarang pakai digital. So ada parts yang dulu tu dah tak ada lagi lah. So that's why kita ni nak kena maklum berapa dia punya umur. Kan. Tapi masa kita kena cakap dengan management, okay, we can no longer maintain this. Not because I don't want to maintain it, but because dia punya spare part dah tak ada lagi. So kita ni running a risk of maintaining something which is actually going to be obsolete. Sekarang kita nak kena tukar lah, pakai digital lah pula. Kan? Aircon system pun dah sekarang macam-macam. Kan? Sama juga macam kereta lah. Kalau kita beli kereta kan reverse sensor, dulu sensor. Sekarang dah ada kamera kan. So kalau kita beli kereta baru tapi tak ada reverse kamera, pelik tak? Oh, kita rasa pelik kan. Kita pakai tit, tak adalah. Itu that technology was what 10 years ago teknologi kan. So maksud saya kita kena ambil maklum apa yang ada dekat bangunan kita, berapa umur dia, dan kita kena maklumkan kepada management. Dan kita kena ada bukti lah mengatakan yang dia punya life cycle ni 15 tahun, 20 tahun. Kan? Jadi nanti dia tembak kita balik. Dia kata, oh pandai-pandai pula kau cakap 15 tahun kan. Elok je aku punya kawan bangunan lain kan. I got a friend who have the same equipment running order kan. So then you have to justify lah, okay, it was not properly maintained or something like that. You bagi record lah. That's why kita ni we need to be well informed lah. Tapi nak start mana? Nak start sana, start sini susah. Jadi that's why the best way to do this is start with the asset register. So you have to know what you own. Pasal itulah tanggungjawab kita. Kan? Senarai itulah tanggungjawab kita. Bukan benda lain, tak ada. Okay. So I hope I managed to address your concern lah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Sr Navil. Okay. The next question is coming again from Mr. John. The question is, what is the best solution for flat top roof leakings? Our condo is facing this issue despite repairs, works done on numerous occasions. Over to you, Sr Navil.
Okay. For flat top roof leaking, okay, normally we have to look at the structure of the roof lah. Okay, bila every flat roof dia selalunya ada waterproofing. So waterproofing ni ada dua jenis lah, two types. Satu which is like rubber ataupun plastik dia tutup. So meaning to say you have porous here, so you just close it there. That's it. But you have to make sure that it is properly joined elsewhere lah. Tak boleh ada puncture lah. That is one system lah. The second system is actually dia masukkan chemical inside onto the flat surface itself, so that dia masuk that chemical and then that chemical harden inside all the pores. So this one might take a risk lah. Tapi nak gunakan yang pertama tadi adalah yang terbaik. But you must get someone who are able to identify it. Probably kalau you panggil contractor, ni masalah dia. Okay, most of the people will go to the contractor. I just want to share with you apa bezanya contractor dengan consultant. Sometime back we have in a building we have this mole. Okay, this is a commercial building. We have this mole kulat. Okay, so the kulat is attacking. Dia ada 6 tingkat. So yang ada masalah ni tingkat 4, 5 dan 6. So perabot-perabot semuanya ada kulat. Okay, so they call the contractor in. So the contractor said, okay, you can use this. We can do this one time, and then it will solve all your problem. Okay, so what they did is, they service all the air handling unit daripada tingkat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dan juga they service all the ducting. Semua dia spray dengan chemical lah untuk menyelesaikan masalah tu. So it worked for about close to 6 months lah. After the 6 months, dia berlaku balik. So I join in after that. Saya join in on the 7th month. So it was unlucky for me, but okay, I learned something new. So they start scolding me, say, you look at this, can you check why? Okay, so saya check. I call the contractor back again. He said, no, okay, we this is our contract, and to carry out 1, 2, 3, 4. And then dia dah buat benda tu kan. So maknanya you are paying me for what I'm doing. Then betul. For 6 months nothing happen kan. So after that then you kena buat lagi sekali lah kan. So pasal apa? Because we were addressing the how to say, dia punya kesan lah. Kesan daripada bukan punca. Doesn't go to the source of it. So then later I call one consultant engineer. Dia ni specialist on mechanical engineer. Dia specialist on air conditioning system plus environmental consultant. Fokus untuk air conditioning system lah. Jadi bawa dia masuk and then saya minta pandangan dia, dan then dia kata actually he met my boss lah. He proposed this, but then it was not tak approve lah. Dia punya fee pun tak lama sangat kan. So dia punya fee is about 60,000 for him to carry out the study lah kan. And then baru Contractor tadi dapat buat 100,000 plus kan. So dia cakap dengan saya, if you pay me 60,000 kan, then I would have recommend you kan 40,000 punya solution, because my solution is goes back to the punca dia. So similarly, kalau you panggil contractor, waterproofing contractor, they will recommend their product. So you can call contractor 1, contractor 2, contractor 3. So basically dia punya produk tu hampir sama. Cuma dia kelebihan kat sini, kelebihan kat sana. Okay. Dia boleh tunjuk dia punya presentation, ribut taufan pun tak boleh buat apa lah. So it doesn't matter which you punya ni, but I would advise you pergi pada consultant. Consultant it can either be macam consulting engineer yang ada uh, to infrared punya equipment lah. Dan equipment dia orang beli dan digunakan untuk kenal pasti kat mana source air tu. So kalau kata sekarang yang atas ni tadi, rooftop ni tadi ada masalah, dia tengok pada atas kat mana air punya punca, dan dia tengok pada bawah where is the water coming from. So kalau air ni pula masalah dia, if you have the flat roof like this, okay, you punya problem can be here, but it is actually coming from the other side, because water will find weak spot. Air masuk sini, they will find weak spot. Okay, that's why those people yang pakai PU system, tembak inject tu, dia tembak dia tutup. So maknanya bila dah tutup situ, air tu akan cari jalan lain. Bocor sini pula, tembak sini, bocor. Sebab tu kalau pakai PU, dia lebih kurang 6 kali baru soft, because dia tembak, dan dah tak ada tempat lagi yang air ni nak lalu. That is one system lah tadi, PU tembak. Lagi satu tadi atas lah. Tapi untuk before you use this system, tembak-tembak ni, appoint a consultant. Consultant yang ada that equipment to check where the water is coming from. Then lagi senang kan. Then you probably spend about what 5-6,000 for them to give you a proper report. Then with that, then kita senang, okay, you can attack this pakai mana punya sistem. Then kalau contractor masuk lepas tu, then cakap lah, okay, this is the problem. So you tak perlu buat semua atap pun, probably you just need to do a part of it aja. Okay, so I hope that we will be able to answer you. John?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Sr Nabil. Yes, I hope Sr Nabil has answered your question, Mr. John Tan. Since we are running out of time, maybe we will entertain last question for tonight, Sr Nabil, which is from Mr. Nicholas. The question is, for over 20 years high-rise, is it mandatory to change the lift system to comply current standard according to Bomba? Over to you, Sr Nabil.
Okay, I'm not too sure about this comply standard, but if you ask me, no. It is not mandatory to change, but you have to prove that the lift is actually still operating properly, that it will comply the requirement by the Bomba. Because in the old days, you don't have this what we call fireproof room. Tak ada. So sekarang dah ada. So maknanya there are certain things you need to comply based on the current standard. I'm not saying that you have to change the lift, but you have to check balik apa yang perlu ada. Kalau dulu-dulu punya lift, mungkin certain things are not there, so you kena masukkan lah. Sekarang kena masukkan kan. So that's what I can say lah. If you ask me, it's not mandatory, but there are certain items that you need to put in based on current requirement.
Okay, thank you so much, Sr Nabil. So I believe that all questions that we have for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending our episode 13 of the Strata Talk Show on the managing operation of building and maintenance. So thank you once more again to our guest speakers, Sr Muhammad Navil, for speaking with us tonight and sharing your experience and perspective on our very interesting topics. It's very honored to have you tonight. So I hope to see everyone again on our next episode of the Strata Talk Show next week on a different topics with a different speaker. So with that, thank you so much again. Till then, thank you and have a good night.
Okay, thank you,